loves, it's Sam. So I feel like I'm a little bit like stuffy and a little bit like nasally right now. So if I sound like really crappy, I don't know, my nose just got really stuffed up all of a sudden. I don't have a cold, so I don't know, it's weird. I've had a lot of people, lots of people ask for me to kind of redo a how to flat iron hair or how I style, like how to style an A-line or a long bob, or you know, the haircut that I have. Basically just kind of like how I would style it if I want to wear it straight, if I don't want to round brush it, you know, how I just flat iron my hair basically. So I figured I would redo one for you. My outfit today is kind of like quite romantic and it's like loose and flowy. So I didn't want to wear curled hair and be like a total loose, curly, flowy head. So I figured I'd go with like more of a chic kind of straight hair and a flowy outfit. So I hope that, oh sorry, I didn't show the back. So here's what the back looks like. I'm hoping that you guys can see. I never show the back of my hair, so you guys probably don't even know what it looks like. To be honest, I never really look at it either, so I don't know what it looks like. I hope this helps. I just used a few products, and I tried to keep it like as simple or, you know, as informative as possible. So I hope I've given you some tips. Ding. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, so I've already dried all of my hair, and I just blow dried it with my fingers. I didn't round brush it or anything. So, and then I clipped it up so it looks a bit wonky. I'm using the Conair Infiniti, and this is, the highest temperature goes up to 446 degrees. So that's what I have it at, just because it makes it quicker for me. And I have quite thick hair, so I always use the highest. I'm just gonna use a brush like this. This is just Paul Mitchell, the 413, if you're wondering specifically which one it is. The first thing I'm gonna do is put some of the Hana Shine Shield, and this is just like a clear kind of, you know, glossy serum. And if I keep on blinking, it's because I have something in my eye. It's like a really like invisible like little fluff hair or something, so I can't get it out. It's like driving me crazy right now. Ow. So I'm just gonna basically put that at the ends, and then whatever's left, just kind of work through a little bit higher, but try not to put too much at your scalp or your roots because you don't want it to get a little bit oily, you know? And then the next thing I'm gonna do is just take my Ozon Infraguard. This is the Thermal Defense Light Shine Mist. And just very lightly, just kind of go over that, just to give a little bit of extra protection and shine. So the first thing you wanna do when you have either long hair or short hair, especially short hair, you get these kind of, especially with me, because I have a lot of calyx. So I get these like weird little like, you know, flicks and curls, and it just looks really weird. I like to take quite small sections. So I usually do about 2 inches, and I start from the bottom. I just grab the brush and just start pulling it down. And I like to do a slight kind of curving under, just because it makes it lay a lot nicer than just kind of doing it stick straight. Obviously, if you want stick straight, then do it stick straight. Don't, you know, don't curve it under. But I just like to do just kind of a nice curve, just so it has like a nice little bend. It just kind of sits nicely, especially with this haircut. But even when my hair was long, I just like the way just a nice kind of little curve looks. And a lot of the time that's the way that they do it in the salon. So if you're wanting that kind of salon kind of blowout look, then just do that slight curve. Now obviously for some people it is going to be a little bit more difficult to get the back. So the very back kind of middle section, I usually will just kind of hold out like that and then just do a little curve. But I just find it's much easier this way, doing it in sections rather than kind of trying to fight with it and you know, having it all down and then just grabbing random pieces. It's like gets a bit messy, and then you're like, whoa, nutsicles, I can't really see what I'm doing or something, you know? Pooing old nose is running. Okay, same with the next section. You want to try and get as close to your roots as you can, and I try to just move really nice and quickly. Don't try to hold the flat iron on the hair for too long. I always think you can always go back over. So I like to work in quick, kind of swift motions instead of going do, 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 do forever. That's when you start getting the kinks, kind of the little lines. And also it's like, you don't want to like fry your hair by keeping it in the same spot for the same, for a long time. Do you know what I mean? So kind of just work quickly. And if you're not getting your curl or wave or whatever you have in your hair, then just go back over it. The trick for what I found from when I used to do it in the salon, if you have ouch, I just burnt my neck, gosh darn it. If you have very, very stubborn, really curly hair or really kind of just coarse, thick hair, squeeze the flat iron really, really tight. I know I've seen a lot of people, when they're flat ironing, they hold it very loosely so that it's barely just kind of squeezing the hair. Oh my God, I feel this eye hair. Did I get it? Oh my God, it's just like going back and forth. Oh my gosh, it's gonna drive me crazy. So I like to really squeeze it. Just squeeze it kind of as tight as you can so that you know that that hair is really going in there, really nice and tight. You're not barely just like, see, like that's just skimming over versus really tightening it and pulling it, and so that you know like you're really kind of getting a good grip on it. And I just feel like that it just helps so much. It makes such a difference. You wouldn't think that it does, but it really does. People have asked me, like when I used to do hair, how do you get it so straight, or how do you get that kind of flat iron to work so easily for you? It's all about squeezing it really, really tight. And you might get a hand cramp. That's, but it really works if you hold it real tight and real firm and just work, use that tool to really work the kind of the curls or whatever you want out. So it's kind of just like a mix of squeezing the flat iron so that it's nice and tight on the hair, and then working in, it's not super fast, like you don't want to go doink like that, kind of like a medium quickness. So you can see how fast I'm working. I'm not doing super slow, but you just want to make sure it's kind of like one solid movement. It's not like a bunch of ring, 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 if you know what I mean. Because that's when you'll start to get the kind of little kinks or the little lines in your hair from the flat iron if you leave it in the same place too long. So you just want it to be kind of one, just like smooth movement. Smooth move. Nobody wants to have unsmooth moves, if you know what I mean. So same in the back. And then this side I always have to work a little bit harder because I have, it likes to flick out instead of under. So usually I will have to do the same kind of piece of hair quite a few times just to get it to go where I want it to go, because this side is a little bit of a sucker. And then just make sure when you're up at the root, kind of give it a curl, like doink, like that. I don't know really how to explain that very well, but don't just go, straight down. Kind of just pull it out a little bit, and then that will give it just a little bit of lift, not too much, but it won't be just stuck straight to your head. And then once again, just kind of curling it just a slight bit under. And if you do have really, really thick, dry hair, usually I would spray my thermal protectant or shine spray or whatever you're using for each section very lightly. So because my hair it's not very dry, I don't need to, but usually, if you do have that quite kind of thick, coarse hair, you might want to spray it each time, just very lightly, so that you kind of have a little bit more slip and a little bit more moisture in there, and then it'll kind of work a little bit easier for you rather than doing it on just plain dry hair. Sometimes if you don't use any product, if you're not using like a shine spray, a gloss or anything like that, you might find that you're getting static because your hair is like so dry that it's just, when you're flat ironing, it's just making it really, really staticky. And you might find that it's not flat ironing as good as you want it to, because it's kind of got nothing to, like, I just feel like when it's really, really dry and there's no product in there, it doesn't flat iron as well as if you have something in there. So I always recommend using a gloss and then a shine, a thermal protectant, always. Because first of all, you want to protect your hair from the heat, and second of all, you want it to be a little bit easier and just look like nice and shiny and glossy when you're done, instead of staticky, dry mess. That is not luscious. Okay, so now I'm pretty much done with that. I'm just gonna go to the top section, and I basically just do the exact same thing and just still curving it under. If you've got layers, you just wanna make sure that they sit really nicely, and see how I'm kind of pulling it up instead of going straight down. It just gives it a little bit more body, but see how it just kind of all kind of curves nicely into each other. So now I'll usually just kind of give it a little shake at the roots, and then get a little bit more of that Hana Shine Shield or whatever gloss that you like. Just get a tiny little bit. I like to put it on the tops of my hands too, just so that I don't have too much. And then when you go like this, you're kind of getting it from both angles. And I just kind of make sure most of it is at my roots, or sorry, at my ends, so that it's nice and silky and in place and frizz-free. So that's really all I do. It's quite simple. Obviously, the longer your hair, you know, the longer it's gonna take. But for the most part, whether your hair is short or long, you can pretty much do the same technique. If you want that kind of slightly kind of curved under, very like professional look, then just do it a slight curved under. You can flick it out, you can do it stick straight, it's up to you. Just, you know, it's whatever kind of angle you're working with the flat iron. And don't do it too extreme, you know? If you're wanting a slight curve, don't really round it over. I've seen a lot of people do that too, and then you have this kind of like weenie roll, and it's like, oh, sick, you know? So just very, very slightly, almost like you're doing it straight, but just slightly curve it. That's how I flat iron my hair. I hope it's helped. I hope that if you were wondering, or if you had any questions, or you know, if you were wondering about products, that maybe you got some ideas. I know that this is really inexpensive. It's $39.95, I think. You can get it at like Walmart or CVS or whatever. But honestly, like, I've used a lot of flat irons. It is one of my favorite ones. If you can't afford a, you know, $100 one or whatever, you know, this one is really great. It works really well. It heats up nicely. And just make sure that you're always using a protectant, thermal spray, gloss, stuff like that. And I don't recommend flat ironing your hair every single day. I kind of just do it like every now and then. So just, you know, be careful with your hair. Don't try to burn it. And that's about it, really. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!